Hi, Shavua Tov. Welcome back to the Megali Mukos. Have a share this evening. Tribes as the building blocks of unity, Jewish unity. A lesson from the breastplate, the Choshen Mishpat that the Cohen Gadol wore in the Beis Hamikdash. So we're starting. The scene is Yaakov Avinu is 147 years old. It's come his time. Yaakov Avinu lo meis, but he's at the end of his days and he's ready to bless his children. So Vayikra Yaakov el banav vayomer he'asfu ve'agida lechem es asher yikra eschem ba'achris hayamim. He calls unto his sons and he says, gather around and I'm going to tell you what's going to happen at the end of days, which is really exciting. But that's not what he tells them. Rashi explains, ve'agida lechem bikesh legalois esakates. He really wanted to reveal the secrets of the future and what's going to be when the Messiah comes, etc. But he lost the divine presence and was unable to tell them that. So he told them something else. And of course, what he told them was of great import. He blessed them, each one according to their essence of each of the 12 tribes. And we have those brachas. We have Moshe Rabbeinu giving parallel, similar brachas in the end of the Torah, Zoysa Bracha, which gives us tremendous insight into the tribes of Israel. But this is Rashi going, the next step after Rashi is there's a Das Kenim Balei Tosfos, which explains why Yaakov thought he could reveal to them what was going to be in the end of days. And it's like this. Yaakov Avinu looked into the names of all his sons, and he found that there's no Ois Ches. The letter Chet is not in any of their names, nor the letter Tet, which is Chet, okay? So he thought, my sons are tzaddikim, all of them, and there's no hate amongst all of them. So if they're all righteous and no sins amongst them, I can tell them everything. And the Das Kenim Balei Tosfos explains, no, that if you don't have hate, you're also not going to have kates. Kates kuftzadi means the end, the ultimate resolution of human history. And the ultimate resolution of human history is going to have to go through a process of hate. There's going to be people who make mistakes and human error, and the rectification of sin, tshuva, is a fundamental component of the final chapter. So if his sons don't have it, because they don't have any hate, so they're also not going to have the kates. So that's why Yaakov Avinu had thought that he could reveal the kates, but then he found that was inappropriate, wasn't going to happen. Like we say in the Shmona Esrei, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Mevi Goyel Livnei V'neihem. Hashem will bring the Geula not to the Avois, Avram Yitzchak Yaakov, not to the Banim, the Shvatim, but Livnei V'neihem, the children of the Shvatim, which is us. So we have Chait, and Bezrat Hashem, we're going to get to the Kates. So let's take a step further. We're looking at the breastplate of the Cohen Gadol. There's a number of shitas in the Rishonim exactly how the letters were. I'm going to share with you a text from the Rambam. The Rambam in Hilchos Klei HaMikdash says, Mifateach, you engrave Ala Avanim Shemois HaShvatim Kol Toldoisam, according to their birth order. V'nimtza Koisev Ala Oidem Ruven, Ala Yashpe Binyamin. So the stones, these are precious stones, a ruby and amethyst, etc. And engraved upon them are the names of the Shvatim, starting with Reuben, and the last one has Binyamin. The Rambam says, Koisev Betchila Lamala Mi Reuben Avraham, Yitzchak veYaakov, V'koisev Lamata Binyamin Shivtei Ka, Kadeshu Kala Oisiois Mitsuyois Sham. So the Rambam takes note of the fact that, as we said, there are 4 letters missing from the names of the tribes of Israel. So if each one of the stones represented one of the tribes of Israel, 12 tribes, 12 stones on the breastplate of the Cohen Gadol, you'd be missing 4 letters of the alphabet, which is a problem because the way this works, the breastplate of the Cohen Gadol had something called the Urim V'Tumim, excuse me, with a shemois written on it. And when they needed a message from a Kadosh Baruch Hu, essentially prophecy, for example, in the wars to conquer the promised land, which tribe should conquer first? And it was Yehuda, Ya'aleh Barosh. So those messages would appear on the breastplate of the Kohen Gadol. There's a machlokes in the Gemara, would they light up or would they protrude? But there was some communication channel through the letters, the letters on the breastplate of the Kohen Gadol. So we need all the letters of the Aleph base so that we can get any necessary message. So if we only had the names of the tribes, we'd be missing 4 letters. So in order to make up for those letters, as the Rambam explains, we add the names of the Avos, Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov. And if we'll think carefully, we'll see that in Yitzchak, Yud Tzadi Chet Kuf, we have of 3 of the 4 missing letters. Okay, we were missing Chet, Tet, and Kuf and Tzadik. And we have here Tzadik, Chet, and Kuf. So we're good, almost. We're missing one last letter, and that is the letter Tet. And I'm going to talk now about how important the letter Tet is. So I put here Chagall, a beautiful painting, because we're going to talk about the Luchos, and we're going to talk about the creation of light. And there's something in this painting that's sort of dreamlike. So we're going to talk also about dreams. So there's a Gemara in Baba Kama Nun Hey that asks, how come on the Luchos Rishonos, the first set of the 10 Commandments on 2 tablets, it doesn't say the word Tov? And on the second set of Luchos, Beluchos HaKronos, Nemar Behem Tov. And the Gemara answers, Hoyel v'Seifon Lishtaber. Since the first Luchos, the first set of tablets were broken by Moshe Rabbeinu, as we all know. So that's why it doesn't say Toiv on them. It doesn't say the word good, because something that's good is sustainable. It's going to have continuity. It's going to last. And the first Luchos did not last. They were shattered. But the second set of Luchos do have the word Tov in them, and they are essentially forever. Today they're buried, but they will come back. The Gemara asks, "V'kisoifan lishtaber my have." So what did the first Luchos were going to be destroyed? What does that have to do with the word Tov? Amar Rav Ashi, Chas v'Shalom Paska Tova miYisrael. If the first Luchos had the word Tov on them, then the Luchos would have survived, and the Jewish people wouldn't have survived. So that's no good. So the Jewish people, in order that they would have continuity and they would be able to endure, the Luchos were going to have to break. So just to explain that the Luchos, the text on Luchos Rishonos is in Parshas Yisro, and the text of Luchos Rishonos is in Parshas Veschanan. That's how most Rishonim understand it. And the text is, of course, very similar, the 10 Commandments, but there are significant textual differences, particularly this word, Leman Yitav Lach. It says in the commandment to honor thy father and thy mother that if you do so, it'll be good for you. And it says that in Veschanan, on the Luchos Shniyos, but it does not say it in Yisro on the Luchos Rishonos, on the first set of tablets. So this word Tov, which means durability, sustainability, something that's going to be around forever, was absent from the first set of Luchos. Next step. What is this Ois Tes? So we have another, the Gemara there in Baba Kama continues. Amar Yeshua, Haroya Tes b'chaloimoi, simin yafelo. If you see the letter Tet in a dream, it's a good sign. Why? Shemi Bereshis ad vayar Elohim or kitoiv loksiv tes. The very first Tet in the Torah is the word Tov in relation to light that God created. God saw the light, that it was good. That's the first time the letter Tet appears in the Torah, it shows us that the letter Tet is a symbol, it's a sign, it portends good things. So if you dream a Tet, it's a good thing. It portends good things in your future. So now let's go back to the breastplate and realize that the breastplate was missing 4 letters, and they were brought in by the names of the Avos, particularly in Yitzchak's name, you had 3 of the letters, but the missing Tet was still absent. It's not in Abraham's name, nor Yitzchak, not in Yaakov, Reuben, Shimon, Levi, down to Binyamin. There's no Tet in all the names of these important, great biblical figures, the patriarchs and their sons. So where is this letter Tet that we need? Because it's good, and it is continuity. It is what's going to make the Jewish people last. Where is it? It's in the word Shvatim, Shivtei Ka. That word means tribes. So it's the word tribes of Israel that contains the missing letter, which is the key to Jewish survival. The word tribes has come into modern parlance today. There's a guy named Seth Godin who has a book called Tribes, We Need You to Lead Us. And, you know, I've read the book, and I'll share his example is the Grateful Dead, Deadheads. people who are followers of the Grateful Dead. When you meet, if you're one of the followers of the Grateful Dead and you meet someone else, you feel, oh, this guy's in my tribe. We share a certain bond, certain values, certain appreciation for things. And so the world is comprised, one could argue at least, of tribes. And so I think that's important. I think in Klal Yisrael that today there's a lot of different tribes in the Jewish people. There's Hasidim and there's Misnagdim, there's Yeshivish people, there's modern Orthodox people, there's all kinds. And by recognizing that there's many tribes, there were 12 tribes of Israel, right? So Yisachar and Zvulun were very different. Zvulun was out at sea doing business, and Yisachar was learning in astronomy and astrology. And so recognizing that all Jews don't have to be the same, right? There's 12 different tribes, and there's Russian Jews, and there's Sephardic Jews, and there's all kinds. And I personally feel a connection to basically all kinds of Jews. And I feel I really contain all of them within my soul and my persona, so that I believe that by recognizing that we don't have to have complete conformity, we don't all have to be the same. We could be different, and we could embrace different aspects of the kiyum of the Torah and of fulfilling God's will. And by accepting our diversity, so then we could unite. Because if uniting means you have to think what I think and say what I say and dress how I dress and do what I do, so that's stymieing. That means I can't be me. But if I grant you can be different from me and think differently than me and act differently, but that's still okay. We're diverse and different, but we can be together because the Kodesh Baruch Hu created Klal Yisrael not from the one of Avraham Avinu or the one Yitzchak or Yaakov. It became 12 tribes. And that means there's diversity and there's different colors and different personality types and different mission, but we're all together. So conformity is not the answer. Individuality, accepting of tribes and of group unity, that's really what I feel is the key component to Jewish unity. Tribes are by definition disparate. They're not the same, but that doesn't mean they're disunited. We don't have to be identical to be together. The diversity provides sustainability. Because if we're all a certain way, let's say we're all super studious and nobody wants to work, well, that's going to be a problem because somebody's got to sail the ships like Zvulun did, so that we have materialists amongst us and we have spiritualists. We have people who are social and we have people who are intellectual, and we have the whole gamut of human experience that we have to cover. So the fact that we're different, that's really important for our continuity and sustainability. And last, I'm showing here the Cohen Gadol. He's wearing the breastplate. The Choshen Mishpat is Ali Boi Tamid, because he is bringing justice between the tribes, and he's bearing them all on his heart. Okay, a great Jewish leader has all of the disparate tribes and their role and their character, but he loves them all and he unifies them all. So halavai, we could get together, Bezrat Hashem, and accept one another, appreciate, respect, live together. We could be different, but we're together. So I thank you for being here. The Megala Mukais. See you next time. Kol Tuv.